Whew, okay, I had to capture a bunch of bees coming in through a vent behind the microwave and stove. Oh my god. At least like 30. Opened the window. They kept flying to the window, so we opened the window, got the screen out. But they just kept coming in. I sprayed. I feel bad. I sprayed the vent outside. Sorry, bees. I'm pretty sure that's why they stopped coming in. Because they looped back to it. I don't know if there's a hive in there. Because they could probably put a fucking hive behind our microwave or something in the vent. A little concerning. There's so many. Like, but they seem to went away. So either I killed them all, unfortunately, which is mean. I was thinking there's got to be a better way. There's got to be some energetic way to like create a barrier. Maybe it's that, what's it called? Oro something G, not orogeny, but the like the object. It's an object that's kind of like a cone that comes to a point. I mean, I've seen it made of like a white substance looking material. Anyway, let's get back to it. I was in the midst, I recall now seeing this image, of looking to see if there was a basis for there being a southernly focused, especially Australia or Antarctica focused boundary. It's thicker in the southern hemisphere, especially towards Antarctica. Boundary layer that's in this time frame, like right at the boundary of Jurassic Cretaceous, maybe is what I was kind of thinking at the. So let's see what we got here. Download this one. Go back, do this one too. As biostratigraphy and chronostratigraphy developed, ammonite faunas were used in the Mesozoic to define stages and form the basis of most zonal schemes. In the uppermost Jurassic and lowermost Cretaceous, this process is complicated by extreme ammonite faunal provincialism. Oh, that sounds faunal, isn't that like biology based? Is this a biology based article? It proceeds of the geologist. Okay. Purchase PDF, right? Yeah. Let's see what it costs. Yep, absurd. $25 to read this, dudes. Literally reducing the free flow of information and preventing the transmission for corporate greed. For money. Money is just not. Maybe I need to remove all forms of me making money off of what I'm doing and really try not to make money. The problem is I have no money, and we live in a world that requires money, and it's hard to convince people not to use money. Be like, this guy's got such persuasive arguments that I want to help him. Here's a turkey. Okay, so drawing the line, the history of the Jurassic Cretaceous boundary. First system boundaries were based on. Okay, that's what I read already. Let's see what kind of imagery we got here. Really, just that? What is that? Cool. Charophyte flora. Algae. This is an algae. Algae. And this. I suppose if we look at the best way for me to find what I'm thinking of off the top of my head is to go to Etsy because I was looking around. These things, what are they called? Shallogram. These are incredible. These are incredible. These are believed, according to science, to be, as we can see, some sort of like shell creature, right? But here's the crazy thing. What the fuck kind of shell creature is that? Where it has two shell. It's two shell. Like this is one shell and another shell, so it's two shell creatures. If it's shell creatures, or these are formed by really revealing processes, fundamental processes that are revealing as a microcosm of the macrocosm. This shows fundamental processes. This is not the fossil of anything. It's a formation by natural flows of energy. It's so crazy and looks like things we've seen that we've just like, yeah, that's probably a fossil. But it's not believed to be a fossil by people who think it's one of the most energetic not to be fucked with. This thing can mess with the entire local energy. To have one in your house is without when people don't know about it can be highly dangerous. I hear. It's to the point where I'm like, maybe it creates some sort of vortex that it's playing with fire. If you don't have control of the fire, maybe it is kind of fucking everywhere and burning shit down practically, not. So anyway, I see this here, where was it? And I immediately think of that. Especially if it's something that's believed to be formed in to be existent, to have existed in a certain time window, and it has this type of characteristics, I wouldn't be so quick to say this isn't representative of some node that an exponential upwelling of energy, of subtle flows, was coming out and creating a vortex that then imprinted into stone in ways where we then look at and label it as literally fossils that are not fossils at all of anything living, really, in the way that we think of living. The way we think of it is nothing lived and left behind and imprinted in stone, its body shape in this manner, that this was actually potentially in a like manner to this, caused by an actual energy flow rather than being a Oh my god. Like, it does look like it could be a living creature. Maybe because it is in a way. But, like, not all of them. If we keep looking, let's see if I can find some good ones. Like, what the fuck is this? This is supposedly the same thing. What the fuck is that? How are these two supposed to be related to one another? Look at this. This is a clear beam of energy that just went through this and created this cone that has ridges. And at some points, maybe it reaches some, like, resistance that causes it to break off and spiral. Because this is really... I mean, it's still a Shalingram fossilized shell. But it's... This one's not the same at all, but... let's see. There's another one like that. So they're not even all the same structure of supposed fossil. Like, this looks much more like technology based. Some of these I wonder if it's like advanced technology. They talk about all these weapons in the in the Hindu scripture. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're fucking shooting beams of ether that are so perfectly balanced that they create these flows. Or this is just a beam in the similar manner that the Earth itself is producing. Because likely we would just be mirroring its processes that we become more aware of. Kind of like shark skin and things of that nature, that when we use nature itself as a basis to design technology. Let's look for more of these, shall I? Before I go back to the boundary. Like this, like, how can someone say these are fossils? It doesn't make... I guess they're saying it has an outer shell, and within it was the creature. Sort of like a shrimp, maybe. But, like, what's going on here? Why has it got a center to the cell, to the shell that goes up through it like this? Oh my god, it's beautiful. This shit is priceless, dudes. People who are selling this for a couple, like $75. If I had money right now, I'd be buying so many of these. Even though I just said their energy, I'd be like, yep, stack them, baby. Seeing what happens. Sorry, world explodes. Oh. Like, what is that? Look at that. Like that? Oh, look at that. Oh my god, the way it does this. That is energy flows. That is not a shell fossil. I know shell fossils grow with energy flows. Here, let's look at this one. A totally different shape. Like, look at even here. Oh my god, that's incredible. It literally comes to a point that doesn't meet. Oh my god. Could this be any more just revealing to the nature of reality? These things are mind-boggling. Let me see if I can find it. What brought my attention to this was these snippet photos. If I can find it. know what I would have called it, or I could just pull this over. How do I make this bigger view? Extra large. Okay, we're looking for a big one of those from a temple. There it is. Boom. This thing. Like, here's his hand. I guess that's not good. It's about the size of his hand from fingertip to palm to the end of palm. So this is a big one. That's literally apparently never been seen by the public like this until recently. Before it was only seen like the, if you look at it from the other side, it literally just is a smooth rock, which is interesting and cool, but there's no window into its interior. Like, it blew its top. It blew its top, just like how we were just talking about. It blew its freaking top. And now we get to see inside of it. Like that. Like, their shape is so different that they can't be the same living creature, but they very well can be subtle differences in flows of energy. That makes much more sense. Oh my god, it's fucking insane. These things are priceless, dudes. $75. It's because they go out and gather them, literally. People in the area. These are only in one riverbed in one location in India. Fucking priceless, dude. $75. More. This is worth hundreds of times the weight of gold. I'm just letting you guys know. Not that it should be sold. That's the thing. It's fucking priceless. I know you guys need some help. That's why you're doing it. But, like, this shit is fucking priceless. It's not a fossil. That's the thing. Once we realize it's not a fossil, it becomes fucking priceless. Let's see what else we got in here. Like, that's incredible. Nice and smooth, like the surface of the earth, relatively speaking. Probably revealing to energy flows like that. It's incredible. Each one of them could be studied rigorously and separate and together. Like, oh my god. That one's odd. It's like, wow, it was really not well formed. What's going on here? Totally different one here. And like, why would the fossils come wrapped in a shell themselves of this rock? Like, it doesn't really make sense. But it makes a lot of sense if this is like a unit that has a structure, an internal stable structure that formed, but then it blew a top. And now it's at an equilibrium where it's just viewable for us like it is. Incredible. So the surface of the Earth, the inner surface of the Earth, probably is much more like this than like this, which is much more like the outer surface. Like, geometric shapes internal that make it very much clear as day. This is not a fossil to anyone who's been inside the inner earth. Not that I have, but people have, I believe. They've made it to the inner earth surface and seen what's in there. Maybe even live there right now, and that's where like heaven is. When we die, we go to the inner earth, and the society in there is just totally awake and guiding the outside surface, and almost like the Wizard of Oz, man behind the mirror is the entire society who's supposedly dead, but really, or not born, not yet even born. Like also that, not even dead, but also not yet born, because they're gonna be, and they're aware they're gonna be, and they're guiding it to that stage and participating in from that angle. I mean, okay, so I'm thinking, just seeing that there's a possibility that whatever this is, without any further looking at it, might be plausibly something to be further investigated as a possibility that it is not a fossil. Blah, blah, blah. Uppermost Jurassic and lowermost. Different boundary. Dependent upon province. I don't know why. I guess that's just a region of Earth that had a monite fauna. Acceptance of the Tithonian stage as the primary standard for the terminal Jurassic means that the basal Cretaceous boundary will be drawn at the base of the Berry-Asian stage. Southern magnetostratigraphy and various microfossils. Although the conclusions vary somewhat, it is apparent that the majority of the Purbeck limestone group of southern England is of Cretaceous age. England. Can I text search? I don't think I can text search this. Water. 4. Jurassic. Only the first page, okay. Damn. I should probably look around to see what else there is before reading this too close. It might have some interesting information. I would like to actually, before I move on, real quick, look at the Tithonian stage. Okay, that's... I have not looked into the biology type stuff. I know a lot of my research could be very, very concerning when we look at things of this nature. Like, during this phase, there was this living, and during this phase, this lived. And there's fossils of this and fossils of that, but maybe some of these fossils are not fossils, partly. And then other ones are not fully understood, and the spectrum can be grasped. But then when I see this and see trees and stuff, yeah, like it makes sense for some things, but other things it's like I don't know. Doesn't mean it's not the case. I just haven't looked. That's all. Preceded by an age in late Jurassic. Oh, right near the end. Okay, so that's something of importance. Is around the where the line is drawn. Okay, that makes sense to why they would be talking about that then. Acceptance of this as the primary standard for the terminal Jurassic means that the basal Cretaceous boundary will be drawn at the base of the Berry-Asian stage. So according to Wikipedia, this has snuck its way into potentially being part of the Jurassic. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah, they list it as Cretaceous. I see now. I see they were putting the boundary ones just past them. I see. I feel like I saw that recently. That makes sense. There's a boundary at 200. That's where I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on with the crust fracturing. Essentially, its major boundaries appear to be like this is where the crust first fractured between North America and Africa, especially. And then this over here is where the next stage, where the Antarctica top was blown off around here. So that makes sense. And then in the middle, I don't know. But that's kind of filling in the details. If it's true, I know it's absurd to suppose that it could be true, but if it's true, let's just suppose then these details would fill in as we analyze them further. Albeit many curveballs and things that require considerations beyond just like the one thing, like, okay, this topic, let's consider it. Like if I were to go here, like for sure it would require considering like what's this, what's this, what's this, what's this, what's this, like going into the details and really branching out to really get the connections, maybe like have a increased surface area of contact between self and the source of energy of the universe itself by being in contact with as many like points. That's interesting. I'm seeing here Greek mythology tied to this specifically. Was introduced. The name is unusual in geological stage names because it's derived from Greek mythology. That's very interesting. Tithonus was the lover of Eos, goddess of the dawn. He was a prince of Troy. And this is when Antarctica was severed. So maybe a relationship between Antarctica and this type of thing. Goddess of Dawn. Okay, let's see. Cretaceous. How did I... Fuck. Okay, overview. Primary Cretaceous event was the rifting of Gondwana. Near the Jurassic Cretaceous boundary, a large rift between Africa and India formed from Dwarka and propagated south until, by 150 million years, Gondwana has been split effectively into two parts: South America, Africa, and India, Antarctica, Australia. That's just not fucking true. According to that video, India... maybe was attached to Australia, but Antarctica was the third part. And then India and Australia suffered. And mind you, India was attached to like Europe and Asia and Africa. So it was actually over a part of this. In truth, it was part of this. That's okay. Pardon me. Not to nitpick as I go, but just to kind of be like, alright, pause. I know I'm nitpicking a fucking technical journal paper, and people don't like that. But who are you? Who the fuck do you think you are? You know, the dude with a Truth Hurts donut. Earth is the shape of a donut because it's hollow, like a donut. Okay. Laid in the early Cretaceous. Why are they saying early Cretaceous? That seems so approximate. What the fuck? Wait. Oh no, the Cretaceous starts at 145. Sorry, pardon me, dude. I thought the Cretaceous... No. Paleogene starts at 66. It's really the end of the Cretaceous. Okay, pardon me. No, I was just trying to fucking flex. Just flexing now. What do you mean? Again. Okay. Early in the late Cretaceous. It's still kind of odd. Late Cretaceous 110. When it does end at 66. It's a little... right? Like, am I fucking crazy now? I'm like, what the fuck am I talking about? Images. Sure. Something like that. Wire stratigraphy. I'll just put Cretaceous, Jurassic model. Just fucking give me the thing. Too small. This is fine. Yeah, like what the fuck? It goes late Cretaceous 110. That's still early. It's odd that they call it late. Early in the late. Alright, fair enough. Fair, fine. Even though I'd say mid. I'd say maybe just in the mid Cretaceous might be. Might have prevented me from sitting here being like, wait a minute. Okay, let's go back. By 150 though, has split effectively. So that, according to, did I fucking lose it? Let's go. Put that there. 145. That's so weird. They really, they say 140, around 140, and then by 150, which is 10 million years prior. Like, shouldn't they say like 160 by 150? Oh, this is a technical paper, right? Or is this a book? Pardon me not to be all pain in the ass. I'm just trying to understand. Southward propagating rifts had opened between India and Antarctica, as well as along seafloor spreading took place along all of these rifts throughout the late Cretaceous. Okay. 66. Can't do 66. That's too close to 66. I need 70 to compare to 94. I feel like 66 was probably a sudden change. See, like this is literally up here though. This is not fucking true. This is literally false. It's up here, attached, one single landmass. That's interesting because in the other one I watched, it showed it severed here, and now they're showing the actual gap though went this way. And the other one also showed it severed here, went around this chunk, and cut this off. So this was open, and then I think also then went this way to cut between these two. Okay. Oh. Ooh. Hmm. Okay. That's right, I was looking at this. What was I doing over here? Just off on a tangent. Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe go back here. Boundary line, Jurassic, Cretaceous. In the Mediterranean, Tethys. Like, only boundary. During the last decades, several integrated studies of Tethyan Jurassic Cretaceous boundary sections from different countries were published with the objective to indicate problems for the selection of biological, chemical, or physical markers suitable for the identification of the boundary. the only system boundary within this Phanerozoic still not fixed by, I guess, geological, what we've determined to be a boundary layer. It's a matter of global scale discussions. The problem of proposing possible JK boundaries. JK. Boundary stratotypes results from the lack of global index fossils, global sea level drop, paleogeographic changes, causing development of isolated facies areas, as well as from the effect of late Cimmerian orogeny. It's an orogeny that created mountain ranges that now lie in Central Asia. You mean Himalayas? Oh. It doesn't even show it. What the fuck? Wait. Here we go. Four mountain ranges were much of the plate's northern boundary. Oh. Let's go. Okay, so that seems to be maybe from the fracturing of India on the east coast from the rest of Asia, causing a push into the landmass that maybe created some orogeny at this time frame that they're then mentioning here. From the effect of sunrises. Okay. This is what I'd like to see. If they're like, there tends to be we would like to find a global marker, but all we can find is a sort of southern hemisphere. Let's just look for south real quick. Spain, Alps. These are not places that I was just suggesting it to be prominent. Belongs to the southernmost part of West Romania. Explosion of small to medium-sized loricas was adopted as the JK boundary index. Explosion of. Interesting verbiage. Almost like an explosive force caused a flow of energy that rippled through the earth and literally made it appear, if we interpret these things, loricas of let's see what they look like. Maybe this. Like if it's absolutely unequivocally a living thing, or if it looks like it's got a sort of geometric arrangement. Is that all I can see? It might be in the paper itself before I go looking elsewhere. One of one. Okay, let's go back. Discussion and conclusions is actually not the worst place to start. See, just get an idea of what they're kind of, why they're talking about this, besides the abstract, but in more detail. Up to present, remarkable advances in something biostratigraphy across JK interval have been published. The phyletic evolution of these small planktonic protozoans and autotrophic algae respectively includes a number of events useful for global correlation of pelagic carbonate sequences. Despite of certain global similarity, details of these events were different due to changes of determining paleo environment. Boundary level should be situated within a bundle of events allowing good correlations in the case of absence of the primary ammonite marker. Tithonian Mediterranean index fossils absent from Mexican sections, Alpina subzone being poorly evidenced. Transatlantic correlation is possible using late Berry-Asian biomarkers only. On the other hand, in Cuba, the intermediate Alpina boundary was well detected by Calpio. Extinct form of eukaryotic single-celled organism of uncertain affinities. Found in marine rocks of Upper Jurassic to Lower Cretaceous age, so only when the Earth blew its top. They were planktic organisms with urn-shaped calcitic tests that had a wide distribution across the Tethys Ocean. Characterized by rapid evolution, and their abundant remains in deep sea like, I'd really abundant. Okay, let's go back. Abundant remains in deep sea sediments from this interval are important as they allow long-distance biostratigraphic. Did I say that right? I always feel like I'm saying these words wrong and getting judged. Especially because a lot of them I don't actually know except for like looking at them. Like, I don't know. Even if I'm like versed in the subject, I might not know how to say it. Which makes it look silly because I just sit here by myself. That's the problem. I just do this by myself. So, there are limitations with that when I then try to communicate, where I kind of look like I'm not able to communicate because I'm not able to communicate the things, but that doesn't mean the things are not being communicated. Okay, let's see. Characterized by rapid evolution, and their abundant remains in deep sea sediments. Trying to think why some sort of emissions would be then subsequently found abundantly in deep sea sediments from this interval. like volatiles of a certain variety that are so anomalous that they become living things in some way. I don't, or appearing like they begin to resemble the long line between living and unliving becomes much less clear, to a point where it becomes more clear that everything is living in some way, like the earth is alive. Images. Let's see what we got here. Like, how can they be certain these are fossils? I know it's a silly question. Okay, that's a little more like, okay, maybe. But still, maybe not, though. That's the thing, like this. What the fuck? And then to say rapid evolution. Oh, rapid evolution. Are you sure it's not just like energy flows that are being mistaken because of pattern recognition? I know you could say the same back at me. Sure you're not having your own pattern recognition problems? And maybe that's why this needs investigated by many and not just one. So we can figure out what the actual truth is, not what my conclusion of the truth is. I certainly am going to participate in the process, and I will not be boxed out. That's all I'm saying. Like this? It's kind of bold to call that living, honestly. And if I were to tie it and relate it to things going on recently, I mean, blowing its top. Maybe they can blow their top. They're little stable particles that can form in certain ways as well, and they're just another angle of looking at the same types of structures that have blown their tops in some instances. And like some of these are actual images of actual plants, but the ones that are found in stone that are considered fossils are the ones that matter. Like this is probably not within a stone that they found in the ocean, say. Let's see if I can find more info. First occurrence, Jurassic period. Maybe. Probably be. Okay, so this might actually be the Calpionellids. I don't know why. It's so. Okay, let's see. Like, we assume that's a living creature. Although maybe now we see them still and they are living. But maybe even if they are living, maybe it was like a reaction of a natural process that gave rise to them, which is why they evolved so rapidly. Look at that, it's covered in hexagons. That right there is incredible. Oh my god. Covered in like polygons. I don't know, dudes. I wouldn't go so far as to say these are absolutely, unequivocally not some formation process that we're seeing. Like, this makes me think of Bennu. Like, if we could see past the dust of Bennu and see its boulders within, maybe it looks much more of this nature underneath the layers of dust that hide its subtleties, like, to make it look more just like whatever I was just looking at, like, odd, resembling a living thing. It's got vein type structures, donuts. Oh my god, if this is just straight physics and geology in action, that would be incredible. This also has a hexagon, just kind of suggestive of something else going on. I mean, surely they appear living, but in some instances, like this, looks like a mouth or something. But, like, what about there? Are we sure about that? This could just be, like, the way nature is. Holy shit. There's another kind of polygon. Square. Just a square. Da 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 da. Monite. Let's look at those. Were that died about that stopped occurring when the earth, the bonds of the earth shattering finally broke. These things were formed by the earth breaking apart. Oh my god. Oh, it looks like a snake. Like, if you look at it from that angle where it's not a fossil, but it's just energy flows that just naturally did this, and then it has a snake head too in this one. Oh my god. Like, obviously they'd be considered fossils, but they're... Oh my god, that's incredible. Oh, my energy literally flows like it has a snake head, a serpent. Back to pull this up. I know I have a ridiculous quantity of tabs. When I stop streaming, I'm just going to close tabs for about 15 minutes, probably. Like this. Serpent. Does it have a head? That would be crazy if, like, this is a head right here or something. Similar structure. And also maybe it has ripples like this, ridges that are kind of perpendicular to the angle of propagation. Let's see. I don't see anything. Folds, let's say. Where can we see, like, this color, this this stuff that's maybe here. Let's see. If we would need somewhere where the Earth is like actually folding to see what angles it folds in that location to see if it would be generally perpendicular. I don't see anything pronounced enough to make it like, okay. Like there's like this kind of thing, but that's not really in this direction. That's branching off this way, I guess. Which there's fractures in the direction it branches, maybe, and then also in that kind of perpendicular direction. Oh my god. Okay, let's go back. The group is divided into cephalopods. Ew, divided into 3 subgroups. You know, the ones that live. And then the 3rd subgroup, the ones that look like the living ones. Oh my god. Their shells make the animals look like nautiluses, but they're actually thought to be more related to squids, octopus. Some of their morphology, we think it's more likely ammonites would have had 8 arms rather than lots of tentacles. Oh my god. To think of that being caused by energy flows. It makes perfect sense, though. It really does. That they would shape this way, but then when the energy is off balance, it causes like a folding to occur where it literally gets labeled a new species. Like, I almost guarantee they don't resemble one another, but they resemble this like general trend of fold. Like, this really reminds me, even this right here is the same kind of thing going on in the, oh my god, the tabs. In the ones that I looked at earlier, that, let's see if I can find it again. Shangri-La, Shangri-La, on the road to Shangri-La. It doesn't matter, you saw it. You guys saw it already. If you saw it, then you saw it, or you can rewind. You know what I'm talking about, that little, not this spiral, but the one through it was pretty much like this, but not folding. So like this makes sense for kind of like a river of energy flowing through resistance, like the bend in the Colorado River. Horseshoe bend, this thing, like this. Like it is, it's the serpentining is because it faced resistance and bent. The flow of energy, it just couldn't go that way, so it went that way. See, it was literally easier to bend it. Less resistance that way, and that's what maybe happens in these, where they're like, look at that. What the They look kind of like how fingernails grow too, when people grow their fingernails all long. And they get all fucking like this. This looks like a person's long fingernail. Ugh. No offense to anyone who's doing that. And I know it's years in the making, so how dare I? And it's a fucking ton of work. Oh, it's nice to see inside of it. To see that it did have like a structure inside. I was just thinking about that. I wonder what the structure is like inside of these things. Like, this doesn't even make sense, really. I guess it does if the living creature is like filling in the ones behind it and then creating some sort of barrier. But, like, it can't even get in there at some point. What's it doing with all this extra shell? Although that's probably what, like, squids and such are like. Squid shell, let's see. Squid shell cross section. I mean, they legitimately are like that. It'd be interesting also if, like, it all happened on one layer of reality as a rapid expansion of the Earth due to a vortex weapon on Dwarka, but the amount of time passing, like, in the perception from the angle of the object. Like, these things, it literally experienced like the full spectrum of reality that we believe to have passed, even though in our experience the time that passed was not very much, because we live on this plane of existence where a vortex weapon was used on Dwarka. Causing the Earth to expand rapidly, and the flood. I know I can sound real absurd, but let's keep looking at this under the potential that this is a thing until I arrive at the conclusion that it is and people mock me for it. How could you be so absurd as to believe these shells are naturally occurring, even though they occur at precise points in time that make sense theoretically, unrelated to these things? They seem to align when energy flows were being emitted by the Earth in large quantities, and maybe they did cause these sort of strange features that we then label fossils because they were stable, like crystals almost. Evidence of inferred baseness until now. Only recently that scientists have found a very large fossil of the soft parts. Well, that would fucking... Complete digestive tract. Oh, shit. Wait. Oh my god, dude. Didn't I just say Earth pooped out Bennu earlier? It may be that that's just the nature of how things are, where it had a waste flow. Stomach. Like, how big is this? 10 millimeters. This is big. Let's say it's like 4 inches across. Okay. Let's say. That's crazy, though. That does look like it could be, a living remnants. How do they explain that right there? This is strongly suggestive of like a subsystem of this energy flow that kind of didn't form well with it. Like it folds off this way. It literally, maybe they would say it's another fossil. Oh, it's just another fossil. Alright. Complete conch on the blah 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 from... With kind permission, they'll permit one another to publish. I'm not allowed to use people's shit. They don't get. No one ever has given me permission. Like, oh yes, I would love for you, sir, to use my work. When I ask, like, can I use your images? At some point, I just fuck it. I'll just reference you. I won't publish you in places where it's inappropriate, like making money. But that's about all I can do. Because I'm fucking moving forward. They say we document the soft parts. Understand, I've seen fucking T-Rex tissue. Thanks to answers in Genesis. Believe, or is Genesis history? That's what it is. Is Genesis history? Maybe. I think this is it. Yeah, that's this one. Pardon me, other ones, answers in Genesis. I'm not even sure why I know that name then, because this is what I was talking about. Video. They must have it. They have the full thing somewhere. Maybe there. It's something like that nature. I should go through this again to see if they have anything of interest again. This is a good source of a lot of different viewpoints. I'm not saying their interpretations are all absolutely sound or sound, period. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying they got a lot of interesting discussion if people are willing to just listen, which is hard because it's coming from people who believe the Bible. Here it is. Here it is. I believe the Bible is history. Theory of everything guy. And so it's very easy to dismiss. Yeah, I think this is it, I guess.
You see then, this is using scanning electron microscopy. You see the extreme detail of the cells. See, in that picture, and this picture, and particularly like look at this picture, we would not begin to expect to see such enormous and elaborate detail. I mean, these structures are incredibly small. You know, this is our 20 micron bar here. See how small these structures are. Still in
Let me just go back.
what we call a dissection microscope. This is, in essence,
There it is.
dissolved Triceratops horn magnified.
Triceratops
And so you can see what it looks like, just kind of little pieces of rock.
Well, Kevin, what did you find then when you were looking at the sample and you actually found some tissue?
Okay, here's what we found. This is actually Triceratops tissue. It's stretchable, it's pliable, it's not an impression of the soft parts of the dinosaur. This is truly soft, it is squishy, it is stretchable, it is tissue.
That blows your mind, huh?
Absolutely.
That's interesting. He said it's not an impression of the soft parts. Whereas what I was just looking at, I believe that is what they're saying. You see, an impression of. Let's see. A predator. Remove the soft parts. Oh my God. What might have been spermatophores represented the males. The microconch represented the males. Like they're only finding males of things that look male because they're from a male energy. Literally penetrating a male energy. Well, reports of identifiable soft parts are exceedingly rare or doubtful. To some degree, this can be explained by the fact that the soft parts are surrounded by the conch, and thus, even if they are preserved, they are hidden under the shell. Also, the sclerotized parts are rare in their bodies and limited to jaws, medulla, and the esophagus. A monoid soft part preservation requires depositional conditions as found in conservation deposits, although the specimen published by shows that unusual preservation might also occur in unexpected sedimological contexts by Hollingworth and Hilton, also Klug and Lehman. Most ammonoid materials preserving remains of the soft parts come from conservation deposits worldwide. Let's just look at their images, maybe. Wait, is that all it did? It just brought me down. In that case, maybe I'll look at this one article. Oh my God. I mean, I generally in the past just thought these fossil type things, if they are fossils, were emitted by the Earth also in part. Like there's a storage of them under the Earth, and that's why they're only subterranean and they're only found once the flooding of the Earth emits like the ocean and its living bodies within it out onto the surface and leaves evidence. But because they just like suddenly came into existence and then ceased to exist at like precise times and in the Earth's geological history that I know to be very significant for reasons that are, I mean, it makes it more likely that they're actually not fossils and are instead just complex energy flows. Like maybe that is at a 120-degree angle right there. It kind of looks like it. Let's see where 120 would be. Like if I put that straight across, it still is not 120. I think that's the same one. But like if they commonly have the same angles, maybe they're not. It does look like it's not the same one. It might just be different under white light. UV image. Okay. Ammonoid materials. Jurassic. The fact that there's almost no evidence of soft tissue in these things is actually evidence in favor that they weren't living. And that the only evidence of soft tissue is that it just has mechanics that tie parallels between the two of living things and how Earth functions, because this is purely an Earth mechanic process result. Maybe. I'm just I know. I don't want to say absolutely because I obviously am just barely scratching the surface of this. Like I could see some like volatile materials maybe being kind of captured into some pocket that then in some way causes just certain like organ looking flows, because it just is like that in some way. I mean, they think this is hundreds of millions of years old on top of that. It's just a little odd. Where was I? Let me go back to here. Southern Germany. Late Jurassic limestone. Which is also when the Alps were being pushed up by Africa being pushed into it. buried outside their conscious. That's supportive though. Supportive of this is not, they don't know what they're talking about, no offense. They're literally like, it's not a living thing. It's a geological process. That is revealing as fuck. And I can't wait to see what we can find about it, but it's almost assuredly the fact that it's remarkable that the study found these things outside, and then they explain it with a predator. Something just grabbed it and left it outside the shell to then be buried under, like, dude, you guys look around. You see anything dead on the ground that's just kind of sitting there? Like, shit eats it. So, thirdly, discuss. Okay. Main specimen, which was discovered by HP, whatever that is, comprises jaws and soft parts of an ammonite from the jaws. But then they have a question mark, dude. How can you say that? Period. And then subsequently in your images say question mark. Question mark. I mean, this is a technical paper that they're publishing. Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? I mean, I think they have a point, but the only reason they have a point is because they're picking up on a tie between, like, physical bodies and more historically considered to be living entities, such as insects, animals, the animal kingdom, you know, things that are alive in our minds. Okay, that's gonna ring a bit, sorry. If you can hear that. My parents are gone. Well, out. Didn't bring their phone, I guess. I need to get rid of my phone. I'm about to get another month's bill. I don't even know if my bank account might bounce. Oh no. Like, it certainly looks like a living thing had, like, released parts of it. But a highly probable, this is extremely important for other reasons, because it shows the process in ways that this is a unique example of. Unless they can show some type of proof that a living organism, like DNA, that kind of thing, you know, like actual soft tissue, like I was just fucking
And if you look at them then at a...
like,
This is actually Triceratops tissue. It's stretchable. It's
then I'd be like, damn, that's hard to, like, respond to and be like, that's not fucking living, dude. That was an energy flow, bro.
pliable.
It's an energy flow, bro. It means tissue, bro. No, I think you're right. That's some fucking tissue. Yeah.
It's not an
Look at it flexing. Yeah.
Of the soft parts of the dinosaur. This is truly soft. It is squishy. It is stretchable. It is tissue.
That blows your mind, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think I'm gonna. Well. So we've made some. Maybe I should recap before I stop completely. We made some progress, I guess. Looking into these things, ammonites. They seem to be plausibly, pardon me, related to energy flow processes rather than actual fossils. To a point where I will look into it and to a sufficient degree to either conclude that no, they are not, or yes, I see really a lot of evidence, and let me show you. Or not show you. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just stop showing people. No one's listening anyway. By the time they listen, I'll just be irritated. You know, you guys don't even. What do you guys fucking do except ignore me all along while I struggled and fell and flopped on the ground like a fucking dying fish? Did you guys guide me in the process, or were you guys having fun? I guess subtly. But fucking participate? Nah, I don't know. Maybe make sure I didn't fucking participate by that type of participation, man. It's not really, why should I be fucking sharing this gold? Like the fact that this fucking shit is priceless. Once we realize they're not fossils, more than likely, and like how fucking this is a photon. Once people who are fucking asshats all along realize maybe there is something of importance to me, do they then, like, to what I'm saying? Not me, but to what I'm saying. Maybe me too, fuck. But to what I'm saying, really. Because, I'm on some shit. On to some shit. Also on some shit, which is another problem. Oh, he's on some shit. Well, and what's your fucking point? You fucking walk that path or nah? Then if you haven't, what's your fucking point? So it's feasible these are not not fossils and are instead markers of when the Earth expanded certain stages of the process, which is why they also can have even hexagonal structures. Like that's incredible. It's almost like this is a scaffolding, a framework upon which, a substrate upon which, like, shit just like compiles, and then over time it forms interesting features like this to the point where we don't even see the substrate underneath it anymore. But that's going on, which is kind of like, well, maybe that's just how it forms, dudes. We don't have to immediately say life just because it looks like it. We can be like, hold up, dudes. Let's talk about this. Let's look into this. Because if it's this, then, well, that would be useful to be aware of. So if it is, let's fucking make sure it's not. In case it's not. In case it is, let's make sure it's not. I'll handle the heavy lifting up front. And then you guys can handle the significantly heavier lifting as a collective as we figure out like the total truth and not my fucking skewed perspective of it. Contact of the blah 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 zones does not coincide with the transition zones. Subzone is placed in. I don't know. I'm just wondering if they're suggesting that at certain periods there are certain evolutions of these things where they look different at certain times, which are suggestive of the amount of energy being released, also something of that nature. Magnetic properties. Teams belonging to blah blah made progresses providing complex integrated study of the JK boundary interval. Bio-event represented by the sea alpina morphological change seems an easy morphological change, easy recognizable phenomenon, as if the amount of energy being released by the Earth suddenly spontaneously changed. But throughout the whole process of it releasing energy, it was causing was formations of this nature. But the formations themselves changed morphologically at the time of the Earth exploding, supernovaing, not just the top blowing like Betelgeuse. Feels that the selected sections should be reevaluated as far as bio isotope stratigraphies are concerned. The gaps in different complexity of data. I need to eat. I should just stop what I'm doing here. I didn't see any proof of soft tissue. I don't know what's going on here. Is this right here? Oh, so a transition when these stopped and these started. Or no, these stopped. This is going this way. What the fuck? It's reverse. A normal reverse. Ooh. Polarity at different times. I like that. I don't know. Okay. That's it for now. I'll be back. Peace out.